And we are live with another episode of Comic Talk. It's that show brought to you by The Keeg, where we talk about this week's new comic book releases. We are here on Thursday, February 15th, 2024, to talk about everything that came out this week. New DC, new Marvel, new Indie. DC's come out on Tuesdays, Marvel and Indie comics come out on Wednesdays, and we're here on this Thursday to talk about it. I'm your host, Dimithri Perera. And if you're watching us live, twitch.tv/The Keeg Show or youtube.com/The Keeg Show, or, you know, maybe you're listening to the podcast wherever you get your podcast from, like, comment, subscribe, and, you know, show your support, and let us know you're out there. I am here with double, what's it called? What's it called when you're here 2 weeks in a row?
Right. This is a two-peat, I think.
Yeah, a two-peat, you know? We got King Krakoa himself, Aaron Rhodes. Aaron, welcome back, man.
Hey, nice to be back as always. How's it going?
It's going good. A lot of good comics came out this week.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about
am I
it.
surprised?
Right,
Like,
right. You sound a little bit surprised.
I don't know. Like, no, I don't know. This is pretty good week.
hmm
We both read a
Y-
lot.
Yeah. We got a few under our belt this week,
Yeah.
and
Um.
and I got a few under the wire.
Well, yeah. Exactly. I mean, we. This is just the problem with doing a show like this. Like some people either get their comics like pre-released to them,
Right.
so like they get to read them the weekend before,
hmm
and then some people who don't do that, then they do their show the weekend after. So it's
After,
either,
right.
you know, but we're here on a shoestring
We're out here
budget
in the
here.
trenches.
We are. We're like, okay, we're gonna read everything Tuesday, Wednesday, do a show Thursday, and
Um,
it's crazy. The turnover time, I mean,
Wild.
we don't have enough listeners or viewers to be nominating us, but like we should be nominated for a Webby just for the
I was about
sake
to
of
say,
like the work we're doing here, you know?
what I would say, my guy here has been working. All right, like what is going on? Like the turnaround time for the comics is crazy.
I mean, but then I have my, you know, awesome guests like you who are also
Thank you.
you're buying in, you know? It's not just me
Yeah,
behind the
of
scenes.
course.
Uh, it's you willing to read the
Oh
comics and
yeah.
like jump on this show, you know?
Oh yeah,
So,
man. Of course, I'm invested.
it's tiring, isn't it? Is tiring?
it it can be, but you know what? Once we start getting into talking about comics, that's when that's when I'm like, okay, it all makes sense. It came together because I can literally sit here and talk about comics all day, and yeah, I can do a TED talk, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I had to think, I was like, could I do a show by myself? And I'm like, yeah, it just wouldn't be interesting. Like,
I don't know.
I don't think the problem is that, oh, Dimitri can't talk for an hour plus about comics alone. No, it's not about that. It's about the quality. It's not the quantity.
Yeah,
So I'm glad that I got you. Aaron, what'd you read
appreciate
this
it.
week?
Okay, so this week I read the Fall of the House of X #2. I read Wolverine number 43, I believe.
Okay.
Um, Scarlet Witch and the Quicksilver #1.
Mm-hmm.
Red Hood #1 and Red Hood the Hill
Yeah.
#1. And who's the other ones?
Sinister Sons.
That's it, Sinister Sons. Yes, and a little bit of Batman and Robin #6.
Oh, okay. For those of you who are watching the show live, some of the images were prepped wrong. So, you know, when we get to talking about them, we'll be hopefully having the correct images as we talk. But, all right, cool. Let's see. What did I read? I read Quicksilver or Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver #1, Wolverine 43, Superior Spider-Man 4, uh, half of Batman 143, and I'm sorry. Then we got Amazing Spider-Man 43, Action Comics 1062. I also read Sinister Sons #1, Miles Morales Spider-Man 16, uh, Blade 8, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu #3. Did I mention Fall of the House of X #2?
Oh no, but yeah.
And then Is that that might be it? I think that's it.
Okay.
I
Look,
yeah.
turnaround time is crazy. What? That's a stack, guys. Like, put some respect on my guy's name. What's going on?
People well, I hope no one's actively disrespecting. I
right,
hope
right,
that's
touche.
not the case, you know, but I'm doing my best. You're doing your best, and we're trying to
Oh
put
yeah.
together a show on a shoe. When I say shoestring budget, I mean the shoestrings have been donated. You know, like we don't have enough to afford like shoestrings itself.
the
So
top, the chips are coming off, but we're holding it together. Look,
ugh,
and look, we got man
it's
effort. We
just
ball.
chewing gum and popsicle sticks up in here, but we're doing our best. Um, so out of out of all the books that you read this week, Aaron, what was your pick of the week?
Okay. So usually y'all know I come here and it's usually always ends up being an X book, but I'm going to switch it up. It's going to be The Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver this week. I thoroughly enjoyed that as I was reading it today at lunch, and I was just like, this is what I want. Like it was thoroughly enjoyable. The dynamics between them, everything. And a
I
good little
I liked I
continuation
liked
from
this one. I
Solo.
read this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Um,
was it was a real nice moment for them, like just like having a dynamic, like a moment with just them, and giving Quicksilver some shine, guys. Like put Quicksilver in things, guys. He's taking a fall from grace.
Quicksilver's definitely been disrespected, and
Yeah,
it's funny because I used to disrespect him, but mostly because I used to disrespect
I
all the
also.
all the Avengers back in the day. Like
Yeah.
the guy switched teams from like X comics to Avengers comics. Like
Real quick.
I don't like Quicksilver when he's or I didn't like Quicksilver when he was on the Avengers. Like I did like
Hmm.
it when he would like guest star in X-Men stuff. Like
Yeah,
that's what I
yeah.
was there for. Um
Right. I was also guilty of talking mad
yeah.
shit about Quicksilver. I didn't give him. He was always just like this ancillary character, but it wasn't until like the retcon got taken out, the retcon of him being not being Magneto's father, son is like it kind of just like ruined him. He dropped as a character, and
Yeah.
like he had no, because the real thing that Quicksilver had for him was the fact that he's like he fights for mutant rights, like he stands on mutant stuff.
Yeah.
But like when you don't have that, where do you put him?
Well, I mean, Quicksilver's gone through a lot of growth, right? Like
Yeah, very much
both
so.
good and bad. Like they're
Hmm.
constantly changing up Quicksilver for the sake of making him interesting, which
Right,
sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But like you
very much
mentioned
so.
that he stands up for mutant rights. He only used to until he became comfortable and then like he became comfortable in like the Avengers and then suddenly
Yeah.
he's better than any mutant. Like he thinks of himself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, and I think that also had in part to do with who his father was. I feel like he felt like he was better because his father is Magneto, like kind of one of the kings of mutants. So
Right.
I can see he's always had that superiority thing, and you can always tell like he always thinks like he's like a step removed from being the prince of all mutants.
But he also thinks he's like he doesn't want to trouble himself with mutant stuff. Like back in the day, like because when he's on the Avengers, like you're on the event, you have the cushiest gig. Uh, I hate to draw these comparisons, but back in the day, like back when Avengers weren't as cool, back in the
Right?
day, Avengers were really like the whatever team, and
Yeah.
like anytime there's a mutant on the Avengers, they're not really like dealing with like mutant rights. Like
Yes.
Beast on the Avengers is just there to have fun. Like
Right. He's
it,
just a bud. It's just a buddy cop movie with him and Wonder Man.
yeah. And I feel like back when a mutant's on the Avengers, back in the day at least, it was a lot of like, I'm not black, I'm OJ. You
Yes.
know what I'm
Oh
talking
my God.
about?
Yes. That's exactly it. Oh my God. What until you just said that, I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
It gives that very much energy. Yeah, because like you don't like it's kind of once they get on there, it's like they kind of mute the mutantdom of it all, and then just kind of go straight into, oh
Yeah,
yeah, we're fighting for everybody, not just one person. It kind of gives an all lives matter vibe, and we
it
don't like
is.
that.
It is. Yeah, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, and I want more of it. Like that's why I do like the Uncanny Avengers series. Like even from the one before, like we get into like, oh, this is the problem with it, especially with the big problem of the whole big problem, especially with the Avengers in a world where mutants exist. You're doing all these things for people, but you're not helping the people who the marginalized group who needs it the most. And like you kind of leave it to the X-Men to deal with it, and this is the opportunity that you guys could have to put the X-Men, to put the Avengers in a moment where you can like show a solidarity thing, but you guys drop on it every time, and you kind of like, because even with like not even just Beast, Firestar, Justice, like
Oh
like
yeah,
other mutants, like people do not even a lot of people do not realize Justice is a mutant. Like you
yeah.
know, if they even know who Justice is, let's
That's
be
the
honest.
thing. Yeah, because he has like super convoluted, but like Firestar is
Right,
interesting because especially because she plays a big part in X-Men comics right
right,
now, is that like she was created they wanted Human Torch for the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, but then
right. They
they
couldn't get
didn't
him.
want like people to light themselves on fire. I think that's what like they said. So then they were like, let's create a
Hmm.
new character that has fire powers but doesn't have to do that. I don't know, but they probably also did it because they wanted a girl on the thing. So great. So they
Yeah,
meant Firestar for the cartoon. Then they bring her into the comics, but she's a mutant, but then they bring her almost no, they. I think they introduce her in Hellions, right? I think she's a Hellions
yeah,
character,
yeah. She was a Hellions character originally.
and then they port her over to Avengers, and then she's
Hmm.
sitting pretty as an Avenger for like most of her time. New
Right.
Warriors. I think she was in the New Warriors for
Yeah,
a little
she was a New
bit.
Warrior. Yeah,
You
she was an
know,
OG New Warrior.
but the point being is that like she didn't really visit the X-Men
Right.
ever
At
until
all. Unt
the Hellfire stuff.
um, she was on, she did have an stint as a teacher at and was an X-Men in, Amazing X-Men, I think.
Oh,
When, like, Kurt came back to life and
that's right.
whatever, she was a teacher when, Wolverine was, the headmaster and whatnot.
Yeah,
It was a cute little moment for her, but, like, they don't even then, like, she doesn't embrace it, like, she doesn't like, "I'm mutant in my pride," like, until this new stuff, like, that moment on X-Men when she says, I'm mutant and proud," that's a moment for her. Like,
yeah,
because we don't ever get that in. I feel like she's the only one who doesn't that one of the mutants who become an Avenger who has a excuse to be like, oh, I don't like mutants because of what she went through with the Hellions and with Emma Frost, of course,
yeah.
with Butterrum.
Her horse, right? What happened with her
Yeah.
horse? Emma
She
kills her horse or something?
Yeah, so Emma tries to convince her to join the Hellions. So she tricks her into she burns the horse and says that she convinced her that it was her powers going awry
Oh,
that kills the horse. So she ends up joining Emma because she wants to get control of her powers. And then, of course, later we find out, yeah, Emma's a horse murderer, but it's okay.
yeah.
We still love her.
Uh, no, I mean, I only recently love Emma. So
Yeah,
have
ooh, I
I've
I
told you
see
this,
it.
right? Have I told you this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't like Emma through Grant Morrison's run. I only started
Mm,
liking Emma around like I slowly got better with Emma through like Utopia and like the
yeah.
San Francisco
Hmm.
like when they moved and like slowly but surely like I was really like
Like,
uh
yeah.
she was growing on me but still
She
not
sneaks up on you.
yeah but not in Grant Morrison's run
Mm,
not in Astonishing X-Men but like after that
yeah, I
yeah
didn't like
and then
that much.
Hellfire pretty much House of X Powers of X onwards the
Oh, yeah.
Krakoan age that
Mhm.
Emma kicks so much ass
Oh my gosh, right? Like, she's the real head of Krakoa. Like, let's be completely 100. She's been running this, like, Charles and Xavier, y'all, like, started the idea, but she held the whole thing on her back, and, like, that's what I've always loved about her. Like, I she gives me, like, I didn't like her because, like we said last time, I didn't like her because of the whole in our State of X, because of the whole Jean Grey and her cheating on
yeah
Scott. But
yeah
as like time went on, like her story, she became such a complex character where I just started understanding. Like, I was like, she's just a woman who fell in love with a guy who just, who was already with somebody. You know, happens to the best of us. If I had a dime, babe, you know.
I
But
mean,
like,
yeah,
it was a good moment. Like I did like as she grew on, like I don't know why it was the moments where she has those she does the bad thing for the good reason. She's the member on the team who does what needs to be done, like in the Utopia era with the extinction team.
yeah.
That team, yeah, I loved it. Love her.
I wanna talk more about X-Men, but I want to
Yeah.
finish talking about Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch and
Oh yeah, let's
how
get into it.
basically Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, this series, is essentially just the same creative team of the Scarlet Witch
Mm-hmm.
series. And
Yep.
it's a new title. And they like to do that because they're trying to sell graphic novels, I think. It's
Right.
kind of what it is. And so then they
Yeah.
retitle it, start a brand new number one. Great. Cool. I'm just happy that the same creative team is part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But Quicksilver's
Yeah, because
part of
Steve
it,
Orlando.
and they do a couple of things. They teased, and it kind of pissed me
I
off.
feel like I know what you're about to talk about.
It kind of pissed me off because basically what happens in the issue is that like Scarlet Witch gets a letter from Magneto post his death,
Mhm.
right? A posthumous note where she like burns it up before Quicksilver can look at it, and she says, "I'm just like protecting you. I'm not going to tell you what was on it." And her assistant, I forget who,
Darcy.
Darcy. Oh, it is Darcy. That's
Mhm.
right. Darcy says, "Oh, was it a letter saying that Magneto is your biological father?" And she's like, "No." And I'm
I
like,
when I tell you, dude, when I tell you, as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is it. This is the moment."
I
And
thought so too.
like, I was ready for it. I had embraced it. I even like when I tell you, I audibly was like, "Oh shit!" And then she was like, "No, that's not what."
I'm so
I was like,
pissed. I'm so
why would you even
pissed.
say that to me?" Like, and for some reason, I feel like I thought it was gonna say like Pietro is his biological son, and I'd be fine with it. Like I keep like that would be the perfect thing to do, especially. But with the way she's like worded that what that note was, I don't know, man.
I I need them just to. I don't care what reasoning they do. They just need to give them back their father. It just
Yes,
none of it makes sense. It just none of it
yes,
makes sense. Like you need the House of M. You know what I mean?
hmm
Like you need Polaris, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch to be his children. Quicksilver
yeah.
looks just like him. Like,
Thank you.
and
That's
I mean,
wild.
yeah, and not to mention not just Quicksilver, but also Scarlet Witch's son Speed looks just like Quicksilver, who looks just like
Thank
Magneto,
you.
which is
Talk
also a
about
little
it.
weird. It's also a
Right.
little weird, but like,
It is
okay,
like because
whatever.
they're like magic babies.
What'd you say?
Because they're like magic babies. Like you're not.
Right. But if okay, let's just take it. Let's break it down. If Speed is not Quicksilver's son, which he's not because that'd be
Right.
incest, then what you're alluding to, Speed looking that way, is because of Magneto.
Thank you. Because
Unless you're just saying
the same
Quicksilver's his
structure.
dad, which
Right.
they're not, obviously. But what I'm trying to
But
say
it
is
would make sense.
they're saying the familial line
Yeah.
is coming through with that silver hair.
Right. Exactly. And it's like even in the eyes, like you see like the chin of and everything you see like Magneto in him. And it's like and even like to be honest, let's be real, like even Scarlet Witch, she looks like Anya. Like she looks like his first
Mm.
daughter Anya. And like I'm like, there's no way like you can't just, easily retcon like
Come on, they just got to
Pietro
change
being
it
it.
back. Just change it. They're like,
Thank you.
and
Like,
I wouldn't be surprised in this series they deal with that.
yeah,
They do that.
they do that. Yeah, for
I wouldn't be
sure.
surprised. This is the
Like,
time. Just do it.
yeah, and like, don't get me wrong, I did love the moment where like she even embraced like the full like Magneto accepted me as his child, blood or not, because I do love like a moment where you like blood or not, you're still my child, you're still family. I do love that, but also there too much of their story, too much of them invests in him being their father.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
cause like like you just basically grab them out of obscurity for nothing.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
I apologize to anyone listening or watching that isn't interested in X-Men, mostly because Your pick is an X-Men title. I consider
Mhm.
Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver an X-Men title.
Kind of though,
You
yeah,
know?
like adjacent, yeah, like they're very like X-Men adjacent,
Yeah.
like, but yeah,
Uh,
I did like the moments, like I did like the argument, like they gave them the talk, like they finally had like their big blowout, and
yeah. It seemed real. It seemed like a real
yes,
family argument,
yes,
and that was
exactly,
cool because it didn't seem like a soap opera argument where
right.
it's like, how dare you keep a secret from me? It wasn't about that. It was like it was more, right? It was like,
Yeah, like there was something more than like even when Darcy said like you're it's more than just a broken box. Like it's something else that you're mad about. And it's kind of one of those things where like it's you always have that one family member who you like don't say anything and then it bottles over and then you're bringing up the old stuff of what happened.
yeah,
And like even in this like fight they have this big argument and they go into and she brings up she because for those who don't know, she burns the note that Magneto left, and quick Pietro doesn't get to see it. But she does it to protect him because she says, Pietro, because Magneto killed Pietro before. He was like, but what was in that letter would be worse than that. So she doesn't, but she refused to tell him what it is, and like you get it because like it's like she said, he's done this, he's protected me so many other times, and this one time I do this, then he gets upset, and like it was such a little brother and sister moment where like they have this big argument about this, and like the moment I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of agree with her in some points because I was like, the whole like when you manipulated me, you've done all this stuff to me, and I've forgiven you time and time again. Which I was like, facts. You're the cause of M Day of House of M,
yeah,
guys. Like like you're the reason the decimation really happened.
yeah,
Uh, and like the world doesn't give him enough blame for it. But like I did love the moments like we just get that like I'm trying to protect you for your own good, even though as someone always thinks they know what's best for you because they're your family, but they don't. And
yeah,
I like that we get that humanizing moment between them, and we
yeah.
don't really get to see them argue that much, right?
I I think this is the series they're gonna talk, like they're gonna make it so that Magneto's the father. I think it
Yeah.
would be cool if the letter was that, like to Wanda, like, you're my blood, you're my daughter, and like the letter to Quicksilver is, you're my blood, you're not my son.
Yes,
And
that
that
would
would
be
hurt him
amazing.
more,
I would
right? That would hurt him
yes,
more
that would be amazing. Yes,
because
that's
it's like,
exactly what I kind
you
of thought.
are my son, but
But right,
you might as well, like, not
right,
be, you know?
you may have my blood, but you are not of my family, and I can
Instead of
definitely see
saying,
that.
you're not my blood but you are my daughter, like, I don't
Right.
know, you know?
Yeah,
um
I think that would be a good little moment. I feel like there's definitely some room there for them to do it.
they need to fix it and fix it fast, because there's a lot of X-Men stuff coming out, including X-Men 97
Yes.
and stuff. So like, are you telling me in X-Men 97 they're gonna not bring up that Magneto has children?
Oh my gosh, right?
I don't
Like
know. I feel like
if they
now's the time
retcon
to
that
fix this problem.
that part, right, especially with so much going on with the X-Men and with them, like and with Magneto coming back, like
Yeah,
I that was one of my points of contention, honestly, that that Wanda is the only child that gets a closure for him. Like like Polaris, his blood daughter, doesn't even get a goodbye from him, whereas they get a whole damn box,
yeah,
and I'm like, she is out here in these streets suffering,
yeah.
and we're just
It's funny you bring
okay
up
with it.
Polaris, because my pick of the week is Fall of the House of X, number two. This is
Oh,
why I'm saying to people, there are other books
close
that we
second.
read that are not X-Men titles,
Right.
but our two top books this week are X-Men titles. Fall of
Yeah.
the House of X, number two. Polaris is my girl. Like,
Yeah.
if I was in that universe, like I want to be
Is
Magneto's son-in-law.
is she Bay? I see it. I
Like,
can see that for you, and I love it.
yeah. Yeah, I think I don't remember what made me clued me into Polaris. I think it might have been House of M, like when they're
Yeah.
wearing their garbs, like
Oh
their
my
like
God. Yeah.
royal garbs,
Gorgeous.
and I was like, oh yeah.
Gorgeous.
And then,
All
like,
of them. But yeah.
Hellfire Gala comes around and all that stuff years later, and so
Mhm.
Polaris is my. I think I did like a love letter TikTok once to Polaris. Well, because Storm is too good for me. I can't crush on Storm. Like,
That's I feel it.
Storm is
She's
perfect. Like, how like when
she's pretty
someone's
good.
two, like someone's
Yeah.
11 out of 10. It's not. it's attractive. It's not attractive though. You know what I mean? It's
She's
just like,
she's too good for like 99% of the population, so I
I
get
mean, I would
it.
say she's too good for everyone except for what's his name, Craig. Craig.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, we talked about
Facts.
this. We talked about so Fall of
Right.
the House of X #2 is dealing with again um the X-Men trying to finally defeat Orcus, and it
Yeah.
kind of closes up the Krakoan age. They have a big plan. One team has to save Cyclops from public execution. Then there's also the Orcus base. The
Hmm.
Bloom is what they call it, I think, in outer space. That
Yep.
space station. There's a couple of different threads that are going on, which also tie in with Rise of the Powers of X. So there's a
Hmm.
lot going on. A lot of these titles are like mixing in and out, like with
Yeah.
everything. And so what we do, like big things that happen in this issue, is the X-Men are killing a lot
Oh my gosh. What?
to the point where like it's almost unsavory. Like I am all for killing Nazis. Like fine.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like in cold blood when they surrender
That one.
is and it almost, I feel like that is a plot point in this. Like
Yeah,
I don't feel
you
like
can
that's
see
a
it.
mistake or that they're writing it too lightly. I think that
Right.
they're going to,
They've had enough.
Nightcrawler teleports a guy into outer space and comes back.
That was the exact moment I was thinking about.
Nightcrawler, out of all people, like sure,
Heart
Colossus,
of the team.
Wolverine, like they would kill people. Polaris, obviously, Polaris is gonna go
Right,
crazy,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
But like Nightcrawler to me killing people by teleporting in outer space, I feel like they're doing this for a reason, and
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like,
I can see it.
what comes next.
Yeah, like the teleporting out of that was when I was like, "Oh, things are have taken a darker turn." Like literally as I saw I like I'm an audible person when I read it and I was just like, "Oh shit." Like
Yeah,
they don't he does not they don't care, but you can honestly tell like this is Kurt and all of them have been changed by this because all of them this is definitely and if you realize this all three of them Kurt, Colossus and Wolverine these are all three of the people who have been controlled by outside forces who have kind of inadvertently been attached to Orcus in some way or fashion even if against them and to become a puppet for them and now they've said they've had enough and like I can kind of see it as well especially for Kurt because Kurt has undergone a lot like Kurt was controlled by Orcus and he had like they made him like kill like delegates and whatnot and like
yeah,
now and framed him for it like and even in Colossus has been controlled since the literal beginning of Krakoa
yeah,
and like he's over it like you can tell like he's already like there's darkness in his heart that he needs to get out. And Wolverine, beast, like just
yeah.
the horrible things Beast did. So like you can tell like it's a different moment for them. And I you can yeah, and it's like you said, you can tell that it's not something that they're doing just like for overkill. It's for a purpose. Like you can
I
tell like
I think there's gonna
this
be a
is
plot
war.
point that's gonna come up later where they're like, when they
Yeah.
bring that up. I mean, there's a lot of
Hmm.
cool stuff in this. I don't want to spoil everything, but like, I mean, that's kind of what this show is about. But Polaris bringing a Celestial's head into the Bloom and then letting the Brood go loose. It's
Wild.
it's amazing. It's also kind of sickening
Yeah.
because like people, like anyone out there who doesn't know what the Brood is, it's essentially Marvel Comics version of the aliens from Alien, where they either kill you or they uh turn you
Lay eggs
into,
in you, right?
yeah.
And then yeah, you
So
become a
they
one of them.
so it's almost like a zombie alien sort of situation, but
Right.
these ones are just killing these guys. And
Yeah.
like most of these guys deserve it and whatever, but it's just, I don't know. It is unsavory.
I'm conflicted. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is one of those things. I feel like yeah, that's a part of it. You're supposed to be conflicted. Like, is this the right thing to do? Because, but also you understand why it's happening because these people have, to your knowledge, they've kind of genocided you guys, and because you don't know where any of the other people are, so to your knowledge, you're just chilling.
Yeah.
But that the Polaris moment, she's serving the like, and I look here, I rarely use this, but she is serving CUNT in
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And we just, and I love that for her. The her declaring herself the new master of magnetism, I I live for it. I instantly loved it. Her new costume, her helmet, like her even her whole demeanor. You can tell like she's embraced some of her father in a way that we haven't seen before, and I'm gonna enjoy seeing how she like comes out of this, like becoming this new person that she is. Like the fact that she went in saying, "I'm here to kill." um to kill Dr. Stasis and Firestar, and
Oh, and they had
and
to
then
stop her real quick. They had to be like, whoa. We didn't tell
cool,
you.
cool,
Sorry.
cool.
Whoa.
But
Bring that. We're not killing Firestar. I forgot to tell you she's a double agent. Oh, and
yes,
she's like, oh, okay.
right. And then they do the recall joke of of them saying telling what Jean did. She said that's the most Jean thing I've ever heard. The
Yeah,
same recall that Kate did when she found out.
yeah,
I was like, I was like, I love that everybody just like, oh, that's so Jean that she would, talk to someone right before she dies, and then and then just and makes a mission out of off the fly. That's
yeah.
such a Jean Grey thing. Gina Lane, you rascal. But
Um,
yeah, the brood thing that messed me up. I didn't
yeah,
know how to. I was
yeah.
conflicted.
I mean, I don't want to talk too much, but they
Yeah,
brought Manifold back, because like they had to put him in
yes,
essentially in a coma so that he doesn't die between
right.
where they need him. Um, Also, there's a coloring problem with Polaris actually. The colorist didn't know whether she's going shoulderless or not. So if you look in some of these pages,
As I look at my
she
book.
has she has a full green costume, or
Yep.
on some of the pages she has open shoulder.
Yeah,
I love the
I
open
did see that.
shoulder.
I love the open shoulder.
Yeah,
The open shoulders are a moment, and
yeah,
I want that for her.
yeah.
I
And
did, and
then Modoc got
oh yeah, go
away.
ahead.
I was just
Oh
gonna
yeah,
say.
oh yeah. I was
Hmm.
Moda. I do like the Emma Frost moment. Emma Frost coordinating everything as always,
Yeah,
and the moment between Manifold and Loktuka,
yeah,
when she like we find out like because we know that she's like the Omega version of him, and like it was a cool little moment where they said like if you weren't there, if we didn't take you out, then the world would have been like irrevocably changed.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it was I enjoyed every single moment of this one. You can tell like I love that we're starting to see the seeds of what's been happening back in the background start to come to fruition. Like I'm ready to see what happens next week on the Rise of Power Vex.
Yeah. Um yeah, I'm very excited for what's to come there.
Right.
Let's hit the let's hit a DC title. You got
Let's
something
do it.
from DC that
Um,
you liked?
yes, sir. Sinister Sinister was pretty good. I mean,
Or
Sinister Sinister,
since
Lord, the Sinister
back to
Sons.
X-Men talk?
Wow, back it always goes back. It always goes back to X Men, guys. But the Sinister Sons was a pretty unique thing.
Sinister
I think
Sons,
it needs
yeah.
a reason more.
Sinister Sons number 1.
Yeah,
Starring
I want to see how that
Sinestro's
goes.
son and also General Zod's son, who is
Right,
Lorzod
Lorzod. Hmm.
is the son. I don't like them,
Yeah. Oh no, not at all.
but
I
like I don't know whether I even like this series. I don't
kind of.
know. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel the same exact way. Honestly, I like. I'm interested to see how they meet up and how this dynamic it comes together. I like that both of them have this like kind of father issue that they're both kind of working out on different sides of the spectrum,
Yeah,
where one gets exiled and one hates his father while one is trying to find his father. It's a nice moment. But yeah, I'm conflicted. I don't know where it's gonna go. I hate to say it like this. I don't know what's the point. I don't know. Like
yeah.
I'm interested to see where this takes them and why this takes them. Like
I
why Sinestro
I
son?
brought this up I think on a TikTok where I was like, is this gonna be good or is this like too little too late? Like it Sinister Sons, it's supposed to be like Super Sons, where we
Super
had
Sons,
Damian
exactly.
Wayne and Jonathan Kent as
Right,
Superboy and Robin together.
right.
And this is supposed to be the evil version of that, right? And I'm glad they
Hmm.
didn't do the opposite, where Lex Luthor and Joker, let's just say, right?
I was just thinking that actually.
I'm
I was
cool
like,
with it. I don't want that, right? But like, so
that would
I
be a
am
crazy super
interested in
Sinister
this,
Son.
but here's the thing. Jonathan isn't Superboy anymore. Like the kids of the Super Sons don't exist
Right.
anymore. So these kids would have been cool to have at that time. I don't
Yeah.
know whether I need this right now.
Yeah, yeah, big facts. I feel that because if they had done it like even a year or two after Super Sons, the series came out, then they could have had something. They could have ran with it. But yeah, it's kind of yeah, like my girl JoJo said, it's too little, too late. I just I don't know. I'll see how the second issue goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to give it a little chance because it could be one of those moments where like yeah, you don't know where it's gonna go, but once that moment hits, it could be like oh, it all makes sense now. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I also look at these little kids and I know they're evil and I or
Mhm.
bad, and I want to, but I want to like them. But I think their
Yeah.
hairstyles are getting in the way. I'll be honest.
Yes. I yes.
I hate Lord Zod's hair where it's
Oh my God.
shaved.
Right.
It's like shaved on the
Yeah,
side, and then it has
and it's
like the
going
long
down
hair, and I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like,
like
is it too much to have like just kind of a cute kid haircut, but still
right.
be evil? Like, I would
Yeah.
have rather him have a bowl cut than that stupid thing. Because
Yeah.
the bowl cut would have looked dumb, but it would have
That
looked
would
like
have.
a child, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this looks like a moody teenager who said like fuck it halfway but he was like,
Yeah.
"No, I want to keep this side and just have the bang." And so he
Why
had
does he look like
the kind of bang on
Skrillex?
one side.
You know what I
Shut
mean?
up. Yes.
Why?
Yeah, he gives that vibe very much so.
Like,
And
I don't want to see a kid with Skrillex's hair. I don't.
yeah,
Also, by the
Sinestro
way,
Son is no better.
Skrillex Luther.
Shut up.
I just wanted to make that joke because it's all Superman related.
I hate how hard I laughed at that.
There was also Skrillex has double L's, which is a Superman thing, you know, where everybody
Very
has like
much.
double L's.
Mm,
There was an old joke back in like old DC comics where somebody wrote in, they said, "Hey, so there's Lois Lane and Lana Lang and Lex Luthor, you know, but like what about Jimmy Olsen? There's no double L." And the joke
mhm.
was it's James Bartholomew Olsen. So there's an L in Bartholomew and an L in Olsen. They're
I
like,
hate them.
there's your double L's, you know?
There's your double L, guys. Now leave me alone.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that title, but you know, it is what it is. Tell me about Red Hood the Hill #1.
Red Hood the Hill #1. I like it. The follow up for it. I like how they're doing more of they're showing the villain side of like him and his empire, and then going to Red Hood. Look here, I don't know what it is about Red Hood, but Red Hood loves the sisters, and I kind of love that for him.
Does he?
Every time, yeah, every time I have seen a Red Hood comic, he has some black girl with him who he just is his best friend or his lover who he just like who holds him down, and I'm just like. I kind of love this for you. I feel like at least one person in the Bat family needs a strong black woman on them to just to hold them down. What I like about her is the fact is that she tells him like it is. Like
Yeah.
he's definitely one of those people who you can tell like you need somebody to be like, hey, chill out. And like she kind of sets him straight and like she's kind of his sidekick, I think. Like she has her own like little moniker, but I forgot what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a cool little moment of him getting his own little city, going back to his own city and
Is it a
like just
city or
trying
is it
to
a neighborhood or something? Or is it still
it's
Gotham?
it's that I'm confused about. I think I know I feel like they said the hill is its own city. That's all I know. But
It's an
it,
area. It's an area, but it's the most crime ridden. Oh, the Hill is a neighborhood in Gotham near the docks.
what? Okay. All right. I can kind of see it. I feel like, but I don't know why, because I feel like it was too light. I don't know. I always picture Gotham dark, and for some
Yeah.
reason, but yeah, it was a good little moment for him. I'm not really a big Jason Todd fan, but I'm trying to read more about him to get what the hype is.
Hmm.
He's my least favorite of all the Robins, I think. So we're just
I
here.
I don't know how I feel about Jason Todd. I like Jason Todd a lot. I think that like he could be a cool excuse me.
Yes.
He could be a cool character. They just got to decide on how to deal with him. I don't
Yes.
think, and this is going to be contrary to what a lot of people think, I don't think that Jason should kill. The
Hmm.
reason behind that is I think he needs his Bat family, even if
Hmm.
his relationships are tenuous. Even
Yeah,
if
for sure.
even if it's like, he gets the invite to family reunions, he
Right.
goes, and I think that he's a hurt kid who wants to have fun with his brothers, but every
Yeah.
so often something will remind him of the trauma that he has, and
Oh
he
yeah.
he might
I'm
leave the party
traumatized.
early. He
Right. Exactly.
Jason Todd's the type of kid, like, he will go to the Manor. They'll be having fun. They'll be having dinner. Maybe they play some like board games, right? But
Right.
something will come up. Maybe with Bruce. Maybe with something else.
Hmm.
Maybe not even like a malicious thing against Jason. Maybe something that
He's
just
just
reminds
reminded of
Jason
something.
of like the life he didn't have. And Jason's
Yes.
like, "All right, I'm peacing out. I'm going home." And like, then
Right.
they're like, "No, we still got like a couple hours. It's only like 9 o'clock." And then it's like, I'm gonna
Hmm.
leave, So like we need that give and take, that like
Yeah.
tension. But I
Yeah.
think that if he kills people outright, the Bat family doesn't want to have
Yeah.
anything to do with him, right?
That's the one thing I can say. Like I like the that I want to like Jason Todd because I like the concept of Jason Todd.
Yeah,
Like like he's the the underdog. You always want, and but he's also the black sheep of the family, and you want
yeah,
to root for him, but at the same time, because he's been through so much stuff. And I and not in reading it, I start realizing like why him and Bruce clash so much is because he is kind of the most like him in certain aspects. Not like I'm talking about just personality, not by detective or being a hero, but just off of my trauma. It dictates how I move through everything, and you can kind of see both of them wear their trauma on their sleeves, and both of them react to a lot of things the same way. And I like that Jason Todd and does what needs to be done because he is the next step he's the next step of what Bruce could be, or like or tired of what Bruce is letting go.
yeah,
But I feel like it should only be one of those moments where it's only when it's the only option.
yeah,
I do like the fact that he back then he understood, like he used to kill back a lot back then. Now he understands, like life is precious in a certain extent, and just because it's not my justice doesn't mean that justice won't be taken.
yeah. I think that there's definitely like gray area for how
Yeah,
Bruce and Jason differ. I also think that Jason and Bruce come from a very similar set of trauma, right? But
very
Jason
much
never
so.
had the privilege.
Right,
That's the thing that like almost like, look, rich kids can have bad things that happen to them. At the end of the day,
right,
though, they are rich. So it's a matter of like, your parents die and you're rich, or your parents die and you're poor. Nobody's
right.
going to want to be a poor orphan versus a rich orphan.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
both sides horrible. You're both orphans, sure. But
Right,
Jason had to live with his formative years as
exactly. On the
a
streets.
poor kid. And
Right,
so, there's that. But like also, I think that what differs is there'll be like some rando villain that'll be like, I'm gonna put another villain in a death trap, or an innocent in a death trap, and you have to choose
hmm.
who to save. And Batman's like, I'm gonna save both. And then
Yeah.
Jason's like, I don't have time
Nah.
for this.
Right.
I'm saving the good person. This guy can
Hmm.
die. Like, I'm not killing him.
Right.
I'm focusing on
Allowing.
this, you know?
Right. Allowing actions to take its course.
You know? And then but like Bruce is the type of person who would blame Jason, being like, "You let him die." And it's like, no, he's saving them. He only can save one.
Right.
He's not Batman.
Exactly.
Batman tries to save both. Jason's like, I can only save one. Okay.
I'm gonna save who matters. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, and that's the he's the one. I feel like the Bat family needs him because he's the one who does what needs to be done when it needs to be done. And yeah, so I feel like yeah, him and Damien.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why, like, it would be cool to see those two hang out a little bit
Ye-
more. You
I
know?
want more of them. I want more of them hanging out because I feel like they will be the fun little like the ones who are always arguing, but when stuff happens, like they're always the ones who are like down for each other. I feel like they
Yeah.
understand each other most.
I also think that, like, I like it when Dick and Damian hang out as sort of like a
Mhm.
Batman and Robin,
Yeah,
Nightwing and Robin situation.
yeah.
But I also think like Tim Drake hanging
I
out
was
with
gonna say
Dick and then Tim
Dick.
Drake
Yes,
hanging out with
I
Jason,
love them.
both of like Tim could work well with Jason, I think.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, but
I
I
think
feel
there
like
could be
Jason
something
would
there.
have like a little bit of contention with him because he's the one who replaced him. Like I feel like that's always been one of the things because even in Teen Titans, he like came back when he came back to
To
life
beat
and
his
tried to fight
ass.
him. Right, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do want more Tim, Dick and Tim. Like
Yeah.
I do love those moments because they're the only ones they're the ones who like really genuinely treat each other like brothers when they like have those panels.
Yeah. But I think Dick and Tim and then Jason and Damien are too obvious
Yeah,
of too they're too
yeah,
obvious.
yeah.
Like
Very true.
switch it up. Give Damien to Dick, which
Tim,
we've seen before, and give Tim to
true.
Jason,
Actually,
and like let them learn a little bit off each other. But
yeah. Actually,
you know,
I
um,
wouldn't hate that.
that's I mean, yeah, that's the Red Hood the Hill #1. I didn't get to read it. I do want to read it
Right.
because I think
I
this
feel like we need
could be a
more of
good
those.
hopping on point for fans of Jason.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is a good little hopping on point for them. They do like, of course, they talk about a little bit of a, his recent intent, like conflict with Batman and how he's not really talking to him. But like, it's a good little moment to jump into. And but I honestly feel like we need more comics of the brothers together. I feel like
Yeah,
we need a moment.
yeah.
Let Batman go missing for like a year or so, and then
I
just
mean, I
have
have
them.
my I've talked about it previously. It might have been before like you came on the show, but
Mm,
basically my idea for Batman is like a superhero only like passes on the mantle when they die or whether they get like
right.
hyper aged, kind of like how Cap
Hmm.
did. Like
Yeah.
nobody ever goes, I'm going to give you my mantle just because.
Right.
I think Batman should. And the reason
Yeah.
is I think Batman should like my I don't need to go too much into it, but I think that Bruce Wayne should say, "Look, I'll suit up as Batman every so often, but I want to step back and I want to
Yeah.
have a life with Selina. I want to raise a kid,
Right.
but still be Batman, but basically instead of passing on the mantle like a literal mantle, do a metaphorical like train his bat team to be better. So
Yeah.
like it would be cool to see him like do a team up with Tim where they do detective
Right.
stuff, but like and then him team up with Cassandra and train each of his kids to be the best
Yes.
kids they could be. I want him to be
Right.
more of a father and
Yes.
step down just for the sake of time, not for the sake that
Right.
like he can't handle it. And every so often there's going to be a alien invasion where Bruce is going to suit up as Batman. Sure.
Right.
But like I want him to realize that he could be a better Batman if
Yeah.
he's a Batman through other people.
Yes.
You know?
Like 1,000 times. Yes.
I
Like
think
that.
that's
That
the
would
only
be
way he
that's the way
gives
to do
up
it.
his war against crime because it's not giving up a war
Right.
against crime. It's your war against crime is through your kids.
Yeah. But Bruce, I feel like is one of those people who I just like. I feel like Bruce is one of those people like I'm going to die before I stop doing this kind of thing. And like I do want
But get
more
him
from him. Like,
therapy.
all right, that
Okay,
part, right?
like I don't know if you know, like the type of person that's always like, "Hey, I can't be passenger seat of this car. Like I always have to drive,
Yeah.
and I'll drive you." And they're
Yes.
not mean about
Yes.
it, right? But it's like I just got to drive. I just always have to drive,
Right.
right? I think a little therapy goes a long way with Bruce, where it's like,
Right.
Bruce, you can still be Batman. You just can take the passenger seat every so often.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
trust that you have trained your children to drive the car.
Yes.
You know?
Very much true. I love that, and I think
That's the
that's
only
why
way
I
you can
kind
get
of
growth
like
from
that.
them.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like the Batman and Robin series that they're doing now, because it's allowing him to be more of a father,
Yeah.
and we're getting to see, like, it's been a good balance of a perfect balance actually of him being a superhero while also being a father, and being a superhero father in the same aspect. And
Yeah.
like that's I very much like it, like where he's getting to actually sit there and be a dad and kick ass, and like we love to see that, like, of him just letting certain moments go and like just being.
Yeah.
And I would want that. That would make me like Batman more, to be honest.
Yeah. What's up to modern Merlin out there? Uh modern Merlin? Not modern. Anyway, what's up to modern Merlin out there on our Twitch
What's
chat?
up?
Um we are talking about Batman and Robin number 6, which Aaron, you said you read only just like half of it?
Yeah, I think I read up to like page 11, but it's good. We're finding out like who we're starting to get a little bit of who Shush is.
Yeah.
Of course, which we also, like, I already felt like I already knew who it was. Like,
Yeah.
we already find out that she's the old teacher of Damien and everything.
Yeah. Do you think it's the
I
principal though?
actually low key, yeah, very much so.
I think it's too
Yeah.
obvious. I think there's going to be something else. I think there's
That's
something else.
I thought that, but then I was like, every time she like interacts with him, I'm like, fuck, this is
Yeah.
no, there was I believe in the last issue, they talk about how he remembers that she's the that Shush was the instructor, and I'm like, I don't know, like the way that they're talking, even like the way she looks, I'm like, she looks a lot like like his instructor, and I'm like,
Yeah.
if that's the case,
Here's the thing also. Do you ever watch Mystery of the Batwoman? The
yeah, loved it.
the Batman animated
Hmm.
movie. A lot of people didn't like it, but like I really liked the
I did.
twist. I really
I like.
and I wish that twist would be used more often. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like
Wait, which twist?
the twist that it's not just the whole movie you're watching it being like who is Batwoman could be one
And
of
it's
these,
been two,
and
yeah,
it's all three of them,
I
you
love
know?
that. Yeah,
Yeah. And so like I like this idea, like it would be cool if Shush was a couple of people
more than
working together,
yeah, actually, that would
you
be dope.
know?
Yeah, they should do that a lot more. Yeah, I feel like we miss opportunities like that, because
Yeah.
I do like a alternating moment where you think it's this person, but no, but wait, it's also this person. But
Yeah.
wait, you thought.
Yeah. Um but yeah, I mean, um uh I yeah, I don't know. I haven't read this issue, but I think they're leading us down a path where it's a red herring, I think.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
Um
and the art in it is just gorgeous. God,
yeah. Uh have you read any of the gang war stuff from this week?
I have not.
Okay. I'm
I
going to
I said
touch
I'm
on it
gonna
real
sit down
quick if
and
you
read
want.
it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead. Get into it. I want to know about
So
it.
there's 3 gang war issues that came out this week. 2 of them come out before. So Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 3 finishes off. It was just a 3-issue miniseries, and it finishes off and leads into Amazing Spider-Man 43. And then Miles Morales 16 also leads into Amazing Spider-Man 43. So just really quick, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 3 is Shang-Chi's 3-issue miniseries where he's trying to do everything, essentially run the weapon society. I forget what they're called, but like they're bad, quote unquote. And he's trying to
Hmm.
get his rings back. So he's trying to lead a bad organization while still being good, and then also making sure that people don't get hurt. So
Right.
it kind of all ends here. He gets the rings back, and then it leads into Amazing Spider Man 43. Then we have Miles Morales Spider Man 16, where Miles is beating up Hobgoblin, and then there's also that other girl. I forget her name. I think it's like Rabble or something like that. But like she has like this like mech suit kind of thing, like an Iron Man armor, and
Hmm.
I can't tell you much about her honestly. She hasn't really made much of an impact for me. Um, but like at the end, like Hobgoblin's like bombs go off, and like I guess he's dead, but he's not, and you know it, and like whatever.
Right. Is he
Um,
Genki?
no, no,
Okay.
no. Genki's not.
Not Genki.
You
The one that he's based off in the comics. No,
well,
yeah, Genki. That's his name. No,
Genki
that's his name. Yeah,
Genki
yeah,
is the
yeah.
comic character, and then
Right.
Ned is the movie
That's his name.
character.
I
But
always forget his name.
Ned, who is Hobgoblin, no, it's not. So Ned Leeds he was framed for being Hobgoblin. He was never technically
Oh,
Hobgoblin.
okay.
So like
Okay.
there's that whole thing. I don't know, it gets really confusing. Because I think what was confusing is for a time in the 90s there was like 7 Spider-Man books going on at once.
Yeah.
Like so everybody had to like figure it out. Um there was anyway. So Miles Morales Cody Ziegler is a really good writer. He writes
He is.
Miles really well. And so this issue, you get like some really good scenes with Miles, but at the same time, it's just leading you into Amazing Spider-Man 43, and that is the art is not that great, but there's
Not.
some
I'm not a
weird
fan.
art. Like there's some weird moments in the art in this where like Elektra, like Spider Woman is flying with Elektra, but they're like it's weird. I don't know. It's hard to say. Anyway, I think it's not too bad this story, this gang war story, but we'll see how it ends.
Yeah. Yeah. Spider-Man's little arcs, story arcs have been hit or miss for the past like year or so.
I mean, I think it's getting better. I like gang war, but I'm hoping something good comes out of it. You
Good.
know?
Okay. That's good. I want to like gang work. I want to read it. I just don't know where to begin on it because I was like I want to read the. I definitely want to read Luke Cage's little series because I'm like I feel like he should
Mm,
have definitely had one before. So I
yeah,
want to see what that goes.
yeah. There should be a reading list at the back of the
Yeah.
issues, so like you kind of have to like kind of
Okay.
go through it.
Definitely doing that.
But yeah, so that's that. I do want to bring up Action Comics 1062.
Oh yeah.
Did you read this one?
I haven't. I'm behind on my Action Comics. I
Okay.
need to. I think I'm like a few issues behind. I need to.
So
I
I
need
think
to
this
get
is
into it
Jason
because I
Aaron.
love it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Hmm.
Jason Aaron's I think started on 1061. Either 1061 or 1060. Either
I think.
the start of this Bizarro arc.
Yeah.
And it started off not very interesting to me,
Mm,
but this issue is very interesting. Like basically this Bizarro sort of virus spreads around the world. And like it gets out of hand. Like they try to contain it to Metropolis,
mm.
but like everything is backwards. And so but they deal with it that it's like morbidly backwards. Like it's not fun. It's it's like firemen starting fires and people who love their dog kick their dog like like whatever. They also
Oh.
mention, and this is wild, I haven't seen anyone talk about it. Superman says that in the maternity ward,
Oh God. I just got scared. Okay, go ahead.
he doesn't say exactly what, but he says like he says something was happening in the maternity ward that scared him and he had to stop it. I think it's they were trying to put the babies back in the mothers.
I can see it. I can definitely see it.
So like
Oh,
yeah. Uh
oh God. I could definitely see the. It's a bizarre. It's a bizarre world.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be it.
And
Or they're unaliving the babies.
oh yeah. I think it's
You're bringing them
I,
to life. You might. I mean,
yeah,
kind of in a
it depends
way.
on how you want to take it. Do you want to take it
Yeah.
the more, which way? But I think it was them. The first thing that popped in my mind was they were putting the babies back in the moms,
Yeah. They
like or
took them out, so
trying
they're gonna.
to until he stopped. Because basically,
That would have been. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing.
he
I'm
does
just.
well. There's this point in the beginning of this issue where you think that all these bad things are going to happen, but then he just goes really fast, stops the guy from jumping off the bridge, stops the school bus driver is trying to run over kids, and so like Superman
The cops
stops
are
that, right?
fucked,
Like
guys.
this is all Bizarro. You want to know the end though? It's really cool.
What?
Okay, so the end of this issue, this is this is a spoiler. Basically, Superman is like, I have to assume that the whole world has been taken over. So I'm going to find the one man who can help me. Bizarro Joker. The most sane man in the world.
Technically, Bizarro. I'm gonna say technically, if it's a Bizarro, oh my god,
So he
that.
goes to Joker to work with him because he's the most sane man in the world.
Damn it! I need to hurry up and catch up on Action Comics.
Yeah,
Fuck.
like this issue really made this story like work because there's also like this interplay with like Bizarro Lois hating Superman and like everybody hates Superman and it kind of breaks his heart because he doesn't know how to fix it because it's magic based.
Yeah.
Like because of like 2 issues ago or whatever the first issue is, I think it was 1060 then. So like it was Bizarro doing magic based stuff and like that's what started this problem. So I don't know. It was pretty cool. I'll say that like, it brought me back, you know? It took me, reeled me back in.
Yeah, yeah, these Action Comics, they've been, yeah, the Super Family has, I'm invested in the Super Family. I never would have thought I would have said that in my life.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see where they go with this, where they go with the family and like how they bring up Metropolis.
Yeah. I mean, as a kid I used to think that Superman was boring. But also
Very much so.
I was a kid and I didn't
Yeah.
maybe me as a kid that being said, I did like Superman the animated series. Like that was my primo Superman.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, good.
it is what it is. For the sake of time, let's go through everything else. What do you think of Wolverine 43?
Pretty dope. I can't. The Council of Sabretooths are unraveling. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see how that goes, especially when they have to get when they're talking about Great and Creed. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to see how
Oh,
that turns out. But the whole the I want to see Laura and the Savage Sabretooth really go at it. Like
yeah.
I want to, because I know she's gonna
I want a
tear her
fair
up.
fight between the two of them.
Yes,
You
yes,
know?
exactly.
By the way,
And
it
like I
is
saw the
gross. It
cover.
was gross. She ripped off Laura's jaw.
Jaw,
Come on.
right?
It's
Bro,
messed up, man.
I was aghast. Like,
Yeah.
and but I did like that they brought back the exiles, the ones
Yeah.
who were put in the pit from Anchor Cole in the beginning.
Yeah.
I was waiting for them to come back. I'm a big fan of Oye. Like Oye is one of my favorite like C-list X-Men characters.
Yeah.
And like she's she for those who watch here My Hero Academia, she's Todoroki, an African Todoroki. Like
What does Todoroki do?
So he has powers of fire and ice.
Oh,
Like he
same as
can
her. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But like I like her that she turns fire into ice and ice into fire. It's a dope little moment for but yeah, they're all like about to go hunting Sabretooth, and I love Third Eye. I don't know what it is about the black telepath Third
Yeah.
Eye who's also a mage who's
Mm.
also does magic as well. Like I don't think we've ever had like a male black telepath. We've never had a black male telepath. We've only had like one black telepath, and that was Astrid, just for Astrid Bloom, guys.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I do like him. Like he's you can say he has like this little like Confucius meets Shaq moment a few times.
I didn't
But yeah,
notice that. Okay.
I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you read the Sabretooth and the Exiles,
Yeah.
he has like little like he's he says like very wise stuff, but then he's like, yeah. Like I don't know what
Okay. Okay.
but yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with the multiversal thing with
Yeah.
Sabretooth because
Here's the
he's a
thing though.
monster.
The thing in this book is they're showing flashbacks with I think Sabretooth narrating the flashbacks. And
Yes.
I don't know what they're planning on doing with Sabretooth. I have a theory. I think they're gonna make him
Hmm.
good. I
I feel like they might try something
because
like
they're
that.
going completely like he is ripping people apart, like
Yeah.
everything. Like you can't go anywhere from here. You have Sabretooth
Right.
just killing a bunch of people. Cool. What's gonna
Yeah.
happen next? He kills more people or he kills less people? Like what do you so but
Exactly.
they're mentioning that like they were good together. Like they worked and they did missions
Yes.
together. So maybe he's not going to be a good guy per se, but maybe
Right.
something's going to happen here where he's going to have this like existential moment where he's like, I want to be your brother again,
Right.
you know? I know they're not
Yeah.
they're not they're not blood brothers. Um
Yeah.
but like still I'm sure like he might be like I want to work with you again.
Yeah.
Like these things that I've been chasing, this bloodlust, maybe I
Right.
don't need that anymore. I don't know whether I want that. I'm just saying that like
Yeah.
it seems like after this they're going to go in a new direction for Sabretooth.
Yeah.
Either he will die and stay dead for a good amount of time,
Right.
or maybe he has a purpose to stay alive. I'm not quite sure.
I that's my thing as well because I don't know where they're gonna go with this. I do like how they start like they do like put a little bit more into like why he hates Wolverine so much is because he basically acts like because I mean he's the other side of the coin. He's the other side of the coin for him. He
Yeah,
sees him like doing all this good stuff and all this whatever, and when he's like then why isn't he happy? Why isn't he whatever? And you kind of like can tell like he's doing this. It's kind of a self hate kind of thing as well. But also
yeah,
like he feels like you lost his best friend because his best friend wants to do like doesn't want to do what you want to do anymore. But like that's also what part of growth is. Like yeah, like they were very similar back then, but he ex Wolverine, unlike Sabretooth, has grown up and
yeah,
has done some growing. And
yeah,
I do like I want to see where they go with it. I mean, I definitely thought that they were gonna do the oh I've been good, I was good, and I did this the good thing for you. And I thought they were gonna do the little switch on him on Supertooth and the Exiles because that would have been a perfect time for him to do it, especially because he kind of went into to the pit for Krakoa. Like he kind of did what y'all wanted, and y'all just said, "Oh, we're going to make this rule all of a sudden, and you're going to be the one that we punish it." So like you understood like why then, but now it's just like you're just killing people, and like you're throwing a tantrum, like basically,
yeah,
and like. You're kind of just like shitting the bed, and now at the end of it, you want him to, because it kind of feels like you would just want him to go back. You guys want to go back to, you want to go back to what it used to be, like the best team because he was like that was when I was the most one myself, and you can see that he wants to relive those moments, and like you can see even in the like the thought bubbles. That's when I started realizing it was him because it was like, oh yeah, you're trying to bring back or relive a moment with these other
yeah,
Sabretooths that you didn't that you're missing out with them.
yeah,
So I can't I want to see where they go with that and see how they reconcile all of this with him. Because I feel like the
yeah.
only way they can do is if he dies. He has to die, like right?
Yeah, keep in mind this is also like they brought Omega Red and made him a good member of X Force. Like, so they
Facts.
could do that with Sabretooth, I guess. Or maybe Sabretooth is realizing that he could have had a family. Like he could have
Yeah,
like it's all his fault. He just could have,
kind of though.
you know?
At every
So
turn, you chose to be the dick.
right. Right. Um
Like,
yeah, real quick, we gotta
mhm.
we gotta hit a couple others. Did you do
Oh yeah.
Superior Spider-Man #4?
No, I didn't get to read that one.
Okay. That one's okay. I mean, it's cool. Like Superior Spider-Man. Oh, Peter gets a
Is
one
he
up
Spider Man
on.
yet?
What's that?
Did he turn into Spider Man yet?
No. So they purposely no. But I think it was for a reason. I think they stopped it. Basically, Otto essentially like Peter beats Otto, and Otto has to say you were the Superior Spider-Man. Like I'm not the
Oh,
Superior Spider-Man.
okay.
You are. And Peter's like, okay, we're gonna work together. So let's go
Okay.
save. Let's go save Anna. Whatever Anna. Otto.
Cortez?
No, Otto Octavius's love
Oh,
interest.
okay, okay.
And I forget what her name is, but yes. So
Yeah, I know what you're
yeah.
talking about.
Then we got Batman 143, which I only read half of it. There's a couple of
Mm,
storylines that are going on with this Joker year one, where it's like past, present, and future. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it's okay.
yeah.
Um, and then I guess the last book that I read is Blade #8, and
Mm.
Blade continues to be such a good series.
Oh, gosh, okay. I keep saying I'm gonna read it, and then I end up doing something else.
Blade
But
is this has been a consistent run. It's 8 issues
yeah,
in,
I've
and
heard
like
only great things about it, like consistently, and I've never heard like it's been a flop or anything.
yeah.
Like the way that people been talking about it, like him being the sheriff of vampires and whatnot, it sounds like it's a move for him, and I kind of am interested. I'm not a vampire comic reader, but I'm gonna give him a try.
I mean, Blade's different though, right? Like this isn't
Facts.
Twilight here. This isn't. This is
Facts.
Blade. Blade
Yeah.
and vampires totally different. You know,
Touche. All right. All
like I'm
right.
not a vampire fan. I don't really like. I'll watch some vampire stuff, but like I'm
Yeah,
not a
I love
real big
like a
vampire.
vampire show. Yeah.
You know, but like
Hmm.
Blade, anything Blade, yeah, I'm down for.
Okay.
You
I
know,
did like him in the Avengers. Like the fact that he made I liked him in an Avenger. I was like, okay,
yeah,
that's wild.
yeah. I think that's pretty much it. That's all the comics that we read this week, which is a lot,
Mhm.
and it's just me and you.
Yeah.
So thank you for
Right.
reading a ton.
What? Yeah, of course. Look here. As soon as you told me, I was like, okay, let me just get let me just knock a few of these out real quick.
Yeah,
And I appreciate it because I definitely thoroughly enjoyed it.
yeah. It's the opposite of like I don't know if you've ever worked at like a bar or restaurant where it's like, hey, we need you to come in, like we are swamped and whatever,
Yeah.
and then you're like, I'm drunk, like I can't. This is my
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
This is my day
yeah.
off. I've been drinking, and they're like, no, just sober up and come down. So like you're
That was
sobering
it.
up. Except in this case, I'm like, Aaron, can you do the show today? Okay, you're gonna need to drink some more. You know,
Right. Right.
like
I
just
know you just drank,
binge even more
but
comics to be on this show today. So thank you, Aaron,
of
for coming on
course.
this. Really quick, Aaron, where can people find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
Oh yeah, of course, guys. So as always, you can catch me at on TikTok, Twitter, and Discord at King Krakoa. You can also catch my podcast with my homie Antonio at Live Friends podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the things, guys.
All right, cool. For anyone out there who is watching, you're watching us on twitch.tv/The Keeg Show or youtube.com/The Keeg Show, or you listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts from, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We are all over the place. Digest The Keeg and our multiple podcasts wherever, however you guys want. But just make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, follow, write a review. Let us know you're out there. Let us know that you're watching and or listening. That's really all it is. And if you want to give back monetarily, we got a Patreon at patreon.com/The Keeg Show. And then we got all our Instagram and our TikTok at The Keeg Show. We're all over social media. So at The Keeg Show/The Keeg Show. Pretty much wherever you got social media, find us because we are there. This is Comic Talk. This is the show brought to you by The Keeg, where we go over all the comics that we read this week. This is a weekly show. We will be taking a couple weeks off in a couple weeks. I think we have next week, and then we take 2 weeks off. So, but it is every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/The Keeg Show. We also got The Keeg Talks every weekend or so, every week, where we're talking about a different topic. Upcoming one this Sunday is Madam Web. I'm going to go see Madam Web tonight. It's going to be
I am
awful,
too.
but I am going to see it. And so we're going to be talking about it coming up. So definitely stay tuned for that. I was also on a podcast recently called Two Filthy Casuals, where myself and the two hosts of that, we talked about X-Men Days of Future Past. So, definitely stay tuned for that. I'll release all the information. I'm going to be having them on the Keeg Talks for Madam Web this Sunday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. So, definitely stay tuned for that. And then we got State of X, I think on like March 9th or something. I don't know. It's a lot going on. Definitely stay tuned. TikTok and Instagram, easiest ways to stay in touch. That's pretty much it. Thank you to Modern Merlin out there on Twitch. Thank you to anybody out there watching and or listening. Thank you to Aaron for coming on the show. Everybody out there, like, comment, subscribe, do your thing. Once again, I'm your host, Dimithri Perera, and this has been another episode of Comic Talk for the week of February 15th, 2024. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.